waiting all along, confessing while alone
and acting very differently, which I was thinking. And one of the ones, this is one of the things one of the things that I was going to add no matter what when I first started the story, is basically one other thing I always thought, which would be perfect connectivity, is basically when she tells the story of her sister, Akira offers talking to Takemi.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, because, he knows the doctor who's very good, and knowing Takemi, she'd be willing to help.
It's like your responsibility. Like I know a doctor, and maybe I can look into this.
I know a doctor. He might be able to treat her without having to have so many medical bills and all that stuff. And
yeah,
and it's like, and she basically figures out no, it's like this very terrible disease that's way past general doctor stuff.
Like you're not helping. I'm gonna help.
No, I'm sorry. Like trying to make an excuse why asking for doctor friend wouldn't help. And then later on, when she is in the hospital, basically, and he goes visit her after the Takasa's I there, and I have him lash out at them and threaten them. When he walks out after that, he runs into Takemi, who's by this point he's maxed out with her, confidant wise, and basically he asks her a favor to take care of Sadayo, to treat her, to make sure that she makes it well. And so Takemi is the doctor that take care of Sadayo during her stay in the hospital, and basically she goes to Takemi to follow-up appointments to make sure she keeps being healthy. And before this, I basically had Takemi run into her in the laundromat while she was working as Becky. So,
while the Phantom Thieves are off doing their thing, what's her name? Kawakami is there just washing the clothes.
It's no, because that's the thing. Remember, the Phantom Thieves always do their Phantom Thieving at daytime.
Oh yeah, they do it. Yeah, they do it.
So he's more like dealing with confidant stuff at that point, meeting with other people.
Hanging out with Ryuji's is mainly after school, the nighttime stuff.
It would be like
the nighttime confidants.
Ouya, the fortune teller.
Ouya, or Iwai, or Shihaya, or Yoshida.
Yeah. That's why I said the nighttime confidants.
Yeah, most of the adults.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, all the adults.
Yeah.
Hifumi's not an adult.
Point, right. Hifumi is another one that's a knight.
Yeah, makes sense.
But I actually have her interact with almost all confidants, and at this point in my story, she literally has either seen or interacted with all the confidant that he can meet at this point in the game storyline. To the point where, and this is, do you care if I mention spoilers from the recent the most latest chapter?
Yeah, I don't really mind.
I don't mind.
Yeah. Basically, I made it so her and Takemi become best of friends after basically Takemi confronts her about her knowing she was the maid from the laundromat, and both having a good long discussions of their feelings about Akira. By the way, in my story, all the female adult confidants have feelings for him.
So you're going the harem route.
No, that's the thing. They have feelings for him. They have feelings for him, but basically,
it would be like an affinity for him.
Yes, and basically, in the latest chapter, Kawakami, Sadayo, and Takemi ran into Shihaya, and she had them come to Crossroad, who she had met Ouya previously. And basically, they discuss about Akira's connection with bonds with other people, and the fact that Shihaya, because of her abilities, realized that he has a special romantic bond with Temperance, and found out that Sadayo is Temperance.
Interesting.
Because because it was thing, I had them interacting because I wanted to have all the female adult confidants become friends and get together and socialize. But when I was writing this, my friend somebody mentioned, wait, so Shihaya does readings, does she? And she has actual legit powers. She's done romantic love readings, hasn't she? Like, yeah. Wouldn't she then understand the connection between a romantic relation and platonic relationship? Oh shit, you're right. Oh god, she would have known.
Maybe she just doesn't want to know the truth.
She blurts it out while drunk.
Oh my god.
So yeah, all the female adults know that she and Akira are dating, but as I mentioned, they all have feelings for him, so there is that understanding.
There's like a genuine happiness.
Yeah.
Like
they want to make sure that he's okay, but they are respecting of the whole thing and just at most teasing her about it.
Yeah, like a playful thing. Like, oh, we know you, we know the dirt on you. Like, we would never tell, but like it's still fun to mess around with it.
Yes, and it's basically that kind of, because that's one of the advantage I took with Chihaya, which is, I think, another great confidant, is because of her reading and her affinity stuff and her premonition.
Like, she pretty much breaks the game when you want.
Oh yeah, no, this is the other reason why I realized that we're gonna find out quickly. It's because Oja is also an expert information gatherer, and I had her and Oja becomes friends around the same time Takemi and Saraya became friends. So the two of them working together, they were gonna find out no matter what. That's just sheep modes.
Yeah, it would only make sense.
Yeah, but yeah, basically, like, having one of the things I brought into the story is basically how Akira is connected to all these people that are important to him, and the fact that, as Shihaya mentions in The Confidant, even after her confidant is finished, she still senses this dread of ruin within him, and she wants to do what she can to save him. So she starts trying to find out who these people he's connected to are, and trying to make a network.
Like, investigating to the point of, like, almost to ruin him, but like not doing it at the same. No. I'm only saying, like, she's in that deep that she could potentially do it.
Yeah, it's more genuine. Like, she knows, obviously, like, she knew Oya, and basically they, with their meetings of different people, because Oya had met Ryuji and Mona, and basically Shihaya had met Mishima and Ryuji. Basically, like, trial by elimination, trying to figure out who is who, and basically it's kind of an interesting web of that I formed with Shihaja's kind of and the group's kind of subplot of them basically trying to figure this out and doing their best to help out from the sidelines.
Now, what does this remind me of? It reminds me of what's his name, Scruffy Turtle's adult confidant AU. A little bit, but
I have not read that yet.
I'm middling on it. Like, he does great art, and some of those panels, comics are nice, but I feel like a lot of them are basically just. I understand the concept of AUs, but I tend to not be the biggest fan of them when they're this drastic, because at that point they're not the same character. Like, the biggest example is Sadayo Kawakami. She's basically more Makoto, basically, than Kawakami, because she hasn't gone through the stuff that makes her who she is.
You know how I see it similar to kind of like in a bridge series, like the writers put in their own own like their own flavor to these characters, and they're no longer
How the originals were.
Yeah, they're not like they add to it and it makes a little bit more sense, but at the same time, like, these are not the ones that I fell in love with. Is basically
that's how I feel. And obviously the fact that he has the Sadayo and Sojiro romance, because like I go like, ew, no. That's a personal one, but that's my brain just goes to no.
Yeah, that's one of my problems.
How about no?
That's one of my things with that AU. I don't want to talk bad about it or anything, but it feels kind of too perfect. Somewhat. I've only read the beginning, and it kind of. The thing is, I'm kind of getting into amateur writing, so I feel like, oh no, Sojiro, you feel too. I'm sure you have your comeuppance here and there, but right now you are not helping your case.
But no, like, again, this is just personal. Like, I'm not saying he's doing a shitty job at it. Like, he does really good work.
I'm sure
it's just doing it's just not for me. Like, I personally am not the biggest fan of it.
Everyone has their own cup of coffee.
Yeah. Sadly, Sojiro Sadayo is not my cup of coffee.
It's mainly
to be fair,
and
to be fair, Sadayo, if anybody else, is usually not my cup of coffee. Although that's mostly done because
I know someone that I talked to that does art as well, and she pairs Sadayo with Maruki, and I'm like, in picture, like in drawings, it's cute, but
with Maruki, no.
No. This is the thing. This is one of those things. I Maruki Sadayo is one of those pairing I've actively disliked. Basically because it was done a lot of time by people who are Sadayo Akira haters. Like, they basically, not all of them, but a lot of them do it just because I'm putting her with him so she can't go with him.
Yeah, it makes
He's mainly
sense.
supposed to be a spirit. He's mainly supposed to be everyone's therapist.
And also the fact that, honestly, because a lot of people shipped him right off the bat because, hey, he's another adult in the school staff, and Kami is a school staff teacher. Have them, like, dull, smash together kiss noises stuff. And I was like, I can see why people shipped it. It's not for me. But after playing Royal and seeing the stuff like it became from, it's not for me, but whatever, to no. Sadayo will never go with him. Like, he and Sadayo do not fit well. Like, first of all, their perspective on lives is so different. Secondly, he's very much still, like, in love with his fiancée. That's much as obvious.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, but I can't see Sadayo being okay with him brainwashing a girl.
No, yeah, it makes sense.
Like I feel Sadayo would be disgusted if she knew the stuff he did. And it's one of those things that, like, for me, like I said, for me, the pairing has to have some concept or understanding and ways for it to develop and form. But it's even worse if there's something completely negating that relationship. It makes me go into hard no. Takemi Sadayo is one I see a lot also, and normally, and like that one I used to hate mainly because of a fanfic I read, which basically had to have them, Kawakami and Sadayo and Akira, dating, and then go through a horrible breakup just so the writer could have Sadayo date Takemi.
No,
why can't it be a three-way?
Good. I know some people try to push their own agendas sometime. Like, they want to put their not agenda. What's the word I'm looking for? Like, they want their thing to be
their own headcanon.
Yeah, their own headcanon. Yes, thank you. Because like, I could see people saying, like, well, I feel that for example, the Futaba fan, I feel like they're a very vocal minority I guess I'm not sure. Like it, because I've seen too much art on the internet, and it's usually always Futaba. I rarely see any for the other girls, and I'm like, yeah, this feels right. But I can acknowledge other people. That's why I kind of like my headcanon is in Royale it's Ren Amamiya or Amamiya, and in the original Vanilla it's Akira Kurosu, and that's how I pronounce it. Sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. I tend to go for Akira, like I mentioned, because I tend to associate Ren Amamiya with the anime. Basically, like the anime interpretation of him is so different from the game one that they felt like two different characters.
It's like Ash and Red.
Like basically, Ren Amamiya is the garbage player who ignore all confidants.
I'm a dad.
But no, basically, like I don't mind people pairing Akira with the other girls because there are connections for those relationships, and that's kind of like what the game allows.
Especially with Makoto.
Yeah. Like, fun fact, Makoto is like at the very bottom of my tier of characters I romance.
I would have
not
to agree
characters
with
I
you.
hate.
No. I can respect if you like.
I need to. I always need to specify because a lot of people like obviously treat that as hating Makoto, and I don't think hating Makoto. I honestly think Makoto gets overhated when some people call her a Mary Sue imperfect when she really isn't. It's just sadly the writers minimize her flaws, which are still there, but they minimize it as opposed to other characters' flaws. Like the Makoto's description mentions her having a more of a bigger anger management problem than Ryuji, but they never showcase it in a point that is anywhere
it displays it properly.
Detrimental, and they never show a method that is detrimental except for the Kaneshiro incident. And even then, the players, like the characters, were very forgiving of her, which they should have been. You know, it's understandable. But when Ryuji happened, they tend to be hard asses on him.
Especially at the when they all thought he died.
The Okumura, oh god, no, the Okumura and the death. Like, this is what I always say. Like, I love Persona 5, but it is not a perfect game, and the story isn't perfect. And while I defend most of the stuff the game does story-wise, the ones I will never defend and think are a terrible decision is the Okumura situation with Ryuji and Morgana. And the whole thing where basically Ryuji risked his life and they thought he died, and when he came back, they beat his shit up.
Oh, yeah, no, I hated that. I
that
thought
scene
they
was
were
just,
going to
like,
fix that
uncalled
in...
for.
I thought in Royale they were going to fix that.
Yeah, but, like, especially frustrating because I don't hate Mona, but the Okumura made me dislike Mona a lot more and took a time for me to recover from that. Because
I think everybody hated Mona from...
The fans and the characters blamed Ryuji for that incident when Ryuji had nothing to do with that. Like, he shouldn't have been held responsible. What did he do? He called Mona useless. Mona called him useless so many times in game. It was
if you
just
keep missing, he goes, Skull, you're pathetic.
Yeah, like, this is something they always did, and the game had treated it like a joke between, like, a banter between them. A bit more aggressive than it should have, but always treated as a banter. And now, because Mona is feeling self-conscious, and Ryuji just did the useless, and he wasn't even, like, angry, he just did it in a joking manner. Like,
he took it personally.
Like, he took it personally. It's, as the joke goes, it's basically Mona insulting Ryuji, insulting me, Ryuji, insulting Ryuji. Ryuji insults Mona once, like, screeching from the heavens, like, how dare you?
Angry gremlin noise, similar to the emote.
Angry cat noise.
Angry re-noises, yeah.
Simp cat
angry
noises.
floof noises. Just kidding.
Yeah, but basically... and the problem is, and this is something that I don't think people brought up, and I want to hear your perspective, because, again, this is one of the things I do, because going into every character's feeling, and why I kind of get upset with how the event played out. Two things. Number one, remember, like, these things started when they were looking into a Okumura situation. They were seeing the votes. They were seeing that it was really high. Like, this is a big catch, and there's a lot of information. But the group is very skeptical about this. So when they do the vote, it is not unanimous. Some are okay with it, with Ryuji being one of them pushing towards wanting to do it. But then you have others like Yusuke and An and Makoto who are not feeling this is right, that this is doesn't something feels off.
Mm-hmm.
And when this happened, Ryuji backed off. You know why? Because that was the code. The code was, we do this if it's unanimous. If it's not unanimous, we do not act upon it. This is how we made this deal. And I always figured something, because they set that goal up, I always figured like there was an argument. But I was not expecting to beat Ryuji. But Ryuji didn't argue. He was like, so we're not really doing this. Like, he seemed disappointed, but he backed
wasn't
down.
pushing for it.
Yeah, like
it was Morgana who kept pushing for it.
But no, he was pushing for it. He wanted, but when he realized the group wasn't in agreement, he backed down. And then Mona went and ran on a rampage, attacking Ryuji and calling him like a showboat that only cared about getting girls because he respected the code. And when Ryuji got upset with this, like, Mona put a hissy fit, because how dare you call, like, why are you calling me like that when he's not being anything? Like, yes, he wants to be popular, but he's not doing any to the point that is detrimental. Like, I see a lot of people like, oh, Ryuji is selfish, he is superficial, all he cares about popular. He's a teenager, of course and he's a teenager that felt ostracized for so long, of course he's gonna want validation.
Like, now he has attention, and it's not direct.
Yeah.
Like, he has not drunk with power, maybe he's just getting a little buzzed. But he's just excited because he's getting
he's getting thrilled because people are excited, they admire him, that he's getting admiration, even though it's not direct. But
it's kind of like like me and you that were, all three of us in the group we have like a little bit of fame, but it's like it's not directly connected to us. It's our work, not us.
Oh no,
se.
no, you two are probably like the biggest ones. I'm the most smaller one.
Good night, Dreamer. Take care.
Yeah, good night, man. Sorry, I wanted to say, but you were still talking. I didn't want to interrupt.
Yeah. Don't worry. But yeah, but basically, and obviously Morgana's facing in runs, and then the next scene when he goes over is everybody forcing Ryuji to apologize,
like,
because acting like he was. Like, I was like, Ryuji did shit! It was Mona! And a lot of people tried to go the middle ground, like, no, they were both in the wrong. Like, no, they was all Mona. Like, they was all Mona. Like, going
he
like,
was the one who instigated.
Roja escalated, and Ryuji is just defending himself. Like, he's not gonna take this shit. Like, I don't blame him for going like, oh, I'm being insulted and taken down. I'm just gonna passively take him down and take the fall. Like, no, he's gonna defend his principles.
He's gonna defend his principles and what they all agreed upon.
And the thing is, and again, this is why I feel like people don't notice is when Mona got kicked, Ryuji was one of the first to angrily defend him. Like, even after all the argument, when Mona got hurt by getting kicked by Sugimaro, the asshole. Yeah. Ryuji was one of the first, he was one of the first to go like, what the fuck did you do to him? Like, and that's the thing, like, Ryuji for is bolster and like people treat like he doesn't care, he will be the first to defend the group. And
that's why he's the physical end.
Yeah, Ryuji is the kind of person that doesn't think and acts first. And a lot of people treat that as a detriment to a character. But I think that's his strength. He is
passion.
He with An, I feel like the heart of the group. Like, he and An, who also very much strives to be the kind of thing that brings people hope and confidence, and is doing this because she was hurt and wants to help others. They both in a duo, which is kind of fitting because they're kind of the two I paired together also. Yeah,
okay, just wanted to be sure
because they've been through so much with each other.
Yeah, but I tend to see Ryuji and Akira as the three amigos, like the three closest of the whole group, basically. Like
they all had something horrible done to them,
and they all kind of like bonded together, having to deal with this. And while the other groups joined in later and they became close, there's always that like factor of the three of them. Like they're the three second-year students in Shujin. They were the three with Mona that dealt with Kamoshida and all that stuff.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because like they're the founding members. It's similar to how you always pair Narukami, Yusuke, Chie, and to an extent, Yukiko. But I think Yukiko still fits in there in this.
She kind of fits because she's with Chie, basically.
Yeah,
like,
she comes with Chie, and then you can not forget these guys, but you just don't include them as the initial members.
Yeah, like they're still important. They're still very close, and they care about each other. And it's one of the things.
It's not like a close bond between all three.
Yeah, it's one of the things I like.
Was kind of the main factor why they. She was basically the Shiho of the group.
Yep, and and continuing to that.
Yeah.
One of the things I disagree with the story is when they acted like when they got revealed that there was all conspiracies to make them fall and fell for their trap and all that stuff. They were like, we were so conceited about our fame that we lost track of what we were doing. And I'm in my brain great and I'm going like, no, you didn't. You never like fell for the fame. You were never conceited. When the fame was getting to you, you guys were kind of hesitant and backing away. The only reason why you did Okumura is because you ended up discovering Haru and her situation. Like, if it wasn't for Morgana, like, scuffling off to Okumura where you had to go chase after him, and then finding out about Haru and about her situation with the, like, arranged marriage against the asshole, I could have seen them not ending up at going for Okumura because things were too uncertain.
Indeed.
Yeah, and so then the game acting like they fell for the trap, like
if anything, Morgana fell for that trap. If anything, Morgana fell for that trap.
He fell for the trap, and he took everyone down with him.
Yes, but the group themselves didn't fall for the trap. So them acting like we screwed up and let the fame fall for, like, you didn't. Like, why are you acting like you did? Like, the villain's plan working was accidental. Like, it wasn't you falling for it. It was just so happens circumstance caused it to work that way.
Yeah. It's kind of like the consequences of Futaba. Like, if we didn't save her, because in the game you have to, like, in order to progress. Yeah. But if you didn't save her, like the story would have backfired. I mean, Mejid would have won. So.
No, because they mentioned. Remember, the guy hacker said they were gonna have Mejid lose on purpose to increase the fans defeating. They were just not expecting the fans to actually hack their system and screw them over.
So,
they were gonna have Mejid lose, but because
they were building him up essentially.
Yeah. So it was kind of, again, one of those situations where, they actually did something to us. Fuck. Well, it still works in our favor.
Like, thanks, Simp Cat.
But no, like, Mona is another character I tried my story to put more sympathetic light. Like, you know how the joke is about him always telling you to go to sleep? And I tried to frame that. One, I obviously have Mona be interacting a bit more. Not just with Sadayo, with Akira in my story. I have Sadayo actually know that Mona can talk later on.
No, so she can hear.
No, she cannot.
She just
hear
knows
him,
the meows and like it has like a rhythm.
Mona writes on a notepad.
Oh,
with no fingers.
Yeah, I mean, remember he could fix a car with his mouth
I know.
and tail.
Yeah, it's hard to do with paws. Well, technically, he's. I don't know why I think of him as a she. I could
because
see him, like,
the voice
scratching
actor
on
is a
floor.
girl.
Yes, but no, here's the thing, because it's one thing that I realized late after playing the game a couple of times. Mona has a prehensile tail. Like, cats do not have prehensile tails. And yet Mona can grab a wrench with his tail.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, yeah.
The car fixing scene, yeah. again, it's showing that Mona isn't like he says, he's not really a cat. Like
Just has
he
the
looks
appearance
like
of a cat.
He has the appearance of a cat, but he's not a cat.
He's like Rocket the Raccoon.
He's a what's it called? He's a shadow, but he's still do
manifestation of humanity's hope.
I was gonna say he's like the Rocket Raccoon of the group because technically he's not a raccoon either.
Yeah, but basically, like Mona is surprisingly dexterous in skills with what he does have. Like he could pick lock. While difficult, he was still able to pick the lock. He was able to swipe a spark plug from the Fed's car and fix their van with it. Like, so for me, like, yeah, he could totally write on a notepad. It's considering everything else, it's probably not that difficult for him.
Huh, nice.
And it allows that aspect of Sadayo still not able to understand what Mona says, but still able to interact with him.
Because if you watch in the anime, like he speaks in he meows in a rhythm, and it's not like Pikachu where he goes pee 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 Pikachu. It's more of meow meow meow.
Like if you hear a cat meow, it sounds like they're actually talking to you. I have a cat. And she's
I mean, all the other characters always comment about how he's a very talkative cat.
Especially Coffee Dad.
Yeah. But
he's constantly meowing in that adorable voice.
Like it was a cute scene where I had her find out because I had her talk to Morgana because I always have Soraya be a cat person. She specifies she feeds strays near her home and all that stuff, so I figured she was very much a cat person. So at times where Akira was around, she talked to Mona. So when she found out about Mona being able to understand and talk to Akira, her instant thoughts were, number one, what did you tell him? What did you tell him about what I talked to you? And number two is, did you look up my skirt?
Oh my god, yes.
Have you ever looked up my skirt when I was here? No.
Yeah, basically.
Doesn't Mona actually leave when she comes over?
Yeah, a lot of times. And I usually have that, but I also have occasion where he ends up staying, basically. Mostly because I like to have, like I said, I like having character interaction. I like having characters interact with other characters that are not just Akira. Basically, being able to, and while the focus is on Akira and Sadayo, I like to at least have them have their own separate thing with the two of them. And basically, basically I put as Mona pushing Akira to go to rest and sleep is because Akira tends to be overworker, overextender.
Yeah.
Kind of in a way, like Sadayo. He's very quick to jump and help others and worries about the people he cares about. And
but
because
he doesn't put himself first, and that's the problem.
Yes, and that's kind of what Sadayo is able to provide for him in a way. Like that oasis of like... one of the topics I talk in the story is the how people underrate normalcy. Basically, how considering that Akira had his whole life ruined, and then when going to Tokyo and having become leader of the Phantom Thief, going to the metaverse, running into all these people, which are their strange lives, and wanting to help every single one of them, and also wanting to make sure to protect his friend because they rely on him, and one bad move can be detriment to all of them, not just him, but his friends. He has a lot of pressure on him, and therefore, what's so wrong with him just wanting to spend the night with his girlfriend and just be a regular high school boy? As regular as high school is dating his teacher, that is. And it's one of the reasons why I also put that, because when you think about it, Akira has all these... it's how I explain how Akira has all of these amazing female: a doctor, a journalist, a fortune teller with actual powers, a shogi master who is famous, like
quote unquote
actual fan. No, I mean she is famous, whether
She's
negative
famous,
or not.
yeah.
She is known.
True.
Literal Phantom Thieves, like actual members of the Phantom Thief. Like, why would he want to go with just plain old high school teacher? because sometimes that's all you want. It's just someone who.
It's basically kind of like what It's basically what makes him human is what we're attached to. Similar to how we can never. I keep hearing people saying like we can never have a good Superman movie. Because like they always focus on the superheroing, and what we could actually get is like we want Clark Kent and Superman.
Yeah, no, it's kind of like how a lot of comic book artists like you can never have the superhero have a happy romance because it's boring, and to my set I call bullshit and fuck you. And it's actually it's actually related to one of the things you mentioned. You've asked a couple of times to others, like name a romance story that basically has the couple get together mid story.
Yes,
like that was one of the things I wanted to also focus on.
Yeah, like not just develop it like throughout the story, like have it develop, but like we still want to see them as like, a couple interacting.
Have the growth for their development of the relationship, but once they are together, show how that them being together affects both each other's lives and the people around them. Because now it's not just Akira or Sadayo, it's Akira and Sadayo together working on things.
Like I will go since we're on, since you mentioned that, like in Sailor Moon, they actually do, like they do show like their dynamic. They do start off hating each other and all that stuff, and they do end up as a couple. But like I like the fact that Darien, if you don't know the name, but his name is
I saw Sailor Moon when I was a kid back when I saw it in Spanish.
Oh, I never got to watch it in Spanish. I know like they still try using that, but what I'm trying to get at is that there is like he I remember one of the episodes like in the redub he even says like, hey, we're not going out until you fix those grades. Like that's genuine caring for the poor girl.
Yeah, like and I also wanted to show like that aspect of basically because a lot of people in the fandom always enjoy the fact that they're battle partners, people fantasies fighting together and dating all that. I wanted to show more the aspect of the Moogle and the source, and the Moogle and the magic wielder kind of relationship. You have the person with all these powers, all these adventure, and on his side there's the regular person who still works hard to
like the NPC,
be supported.
It's like the dynamic.
Kind of.
It's basically the day in a life without the crazy magic and going into.
It's kind of why I enjoy focusing on Sadayo, because it's focusing on her relation now dating this vigilante, superpowered vigilante.
Yeah, because it mainly like you said, it mainly focuses on the hero aspect and the like a slice of life.
Yeah, slice of life, which just so happens that the other partner is a magically powered like summoner of gods in this other world. Like I only had one chapter focus on the metaverse aspect, and that was when he fights the Takasis. Because I was not gonna skip me writing them beating their asses.
Of course, you gotta at least let them beat their asses.
Oh yeah, he almost killed them.
Oh,
he almost.
I guess the other Phantom Thieves told him like, "Hey, no, we're not. This is not. We don't do that. We don't do that here."
No. He stops himself because he puts it in his words. You're no good to me, dead. But basically, like he was just gonna beat their asses. But when he realizes how petty their reasons were for making her suffer through this, because if you read their apology, it's basically they go about how they felt like their brother, his brother, was looking down on them, and so when they died from the accident, they wanted to have their son feel suffering and grovel for the first time, and it felt good. And then basically he goes like, now that I think about it, maybe he didn't hate me like that, and maybe, and basically when Akira realizes that all this he's done is because of a maybe, when he they killed a kid and put the woman he loves through hell because he thought that the brother looked down on him. He's gonna choke a bitch. And basically, like, he only stops himself because he goes like,
This isn't right.
"You're not good to me, dead." Yeah. Well, it's more anger, restraint, going, "You're not good to me, dead." What you're gonna do is you're gonna apologize, grovel to her. You're gonna pay her every yen you made her pay you, even if it kills you.
Pretty dark, but
It's basically at its most enraged state he's ever been, basically.
Like his Super Saiyan moment.
Yes. It's something like the other fantasy took note of, and I did have it mitigated that when they apologized to Sarayo, like, she was very much like, don't stress out about it. Take your time. Don't push yourself. Kind of showing basically the contrast. Akira, while more idealistic, gets more enraged, more emotional by this, and Sarayo, while hurt the most, doesn't want to hurt anybody.
Yeah, that would make him.
Our boy here gets all mean and nasty when you piss him off. So don't piss him off. Word to the wise. And if anyone can guess that reference, you all are champs.
But no, like, yeah, basically the first instance was basically when he met them for the first time in the hospital when they berated her, and he outright threatened them, like, if you hurt a hair on her, he'll make you regret it. And basically when they did, he made them regret it.
Mm-hmm. Big time.
Also, for fun, I did add a reference to the, like, well-known exploit of milking your opponents dry for cash.
Oops.
So basically, like, oh, I'm not gonna kill you, but you're still gonna make up due for what you did in payment, and therefore basically had them confused and dropping money until he was loaded.
Shoot, I forgot about that.
Oh, until she was loaded. Yeah, there's the, what's it called? The not bribe.
The Sandman, the confusion
benefits.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sandman
usually
because
Yoshida's benefits, basically. One of my characters that I love, and it's kind of underrated because he's not a girl. So since he's not a waifu, and he, like I said, he's kind of underrated because, like, almost everybody's talking about the girls. It's Yoshida. And
oh yeah, no.
I don't know if I've told you, I used to work on a webcomic on Webtoon. It was called Red.
You haven't. No.
It's very Persona-like, but what I wanted to get at is, for lack of better word, stand. There's like, these characters do have stands or similar to the Personas, and the main character has, like, he has the fire affinity, and his like I said, for lack of better word, stan is Suzaku, which Suzaku I kind of I had an affinity for him because of Code Geass, or at least the name, and then I coincidentally just put Suzaku as, like, okay, this is just, like, it sounds like an older Japanese man's name, and I thought. And then I found out that there are like 4 symbols in Japanese mythology where what's it called? I forget what it's called. There's Suzaku the Vermilion, White Tiger, Blue Dragon, and Black Tortoise. I don't know if you guys have heard of these.
Nope.
But yeah, they're just based on mythology. They represent the 4 changing of seasons, and so Suzaku represents the summer, and I already had a deep affinity for him because, like, since I included him in my webcomic, and then Yoshida pops in here, and, like, the first persona that you can use with the with his arcana is Suzaku. So I'm like, so that's why I already had the association with Suzaku, and then then Yoshida's story is very similar to Akira's / Ren's. So I'm like, this guy's pretty underrated. Why is nobody talking about him? Like, not enough, at least. But yeah, please continue. I just wanted to say that tidbit.
But yeah, no,
yeah,
it was just one of those things because I always made it a habit of using that exploits on the Takases. Like they were always my money maker. As soon as I got to them, well, let's max out all the money. Come on, pay me up, just like you did her. Give me every single gen you had. Just righteous justice.
Why did I never do that? I'm beating myself up right now in my mind because of it.
I didn't think twice about it. I just used fucking Izanagi no Kami and it's like, fuck you guys. By the myriad truths.
But I brought that reference because it was hilarious and also kind of helps explains his money situation, how much money he has.
Oh yeah.
How do you have so much money?
Even in the anime, they do. At least they reference the fact that he has a ton of cash, thanks to Futaba. But only for Futaba.
Only for Futaba.
Do you have do you have enough money to get back home? What?
But yeah, it's one of those things that I just have because it's something I do in every game, so it felt fitting to do it to them.
Now I want to do it.
But no, basically it was. What was I talking before all this? It was basically that scene was just the only combat scene I've ever had in the story because it had to be there. It was too important to just go and then they beat his ass and
yeah, they could just you could have just wrote it off as fly, go away, and that's it. And
yep, but because of how impactful it was, I had to make the fight feel important. It couldn't just be a ruffle stump kind of situation. I had to put more at stake to show how much he was willing to go.
Because you kind of feel like you have to do that sometimes with your waifu. For example, the dialogue options where Wakaba says, she belongs to me, and then you can tell her, we'll be taking her now.
Yeah. I just wish that there was some lines, for Haru, when Haru's, having those quote-unquote fights with, what's his name? I keep forgetting his name because I don't
That's how much of a jerk he was.
Sugimura.
Yeah.
I
just, tell him off sometimes.
I couldn't care less anymore.
She does not... It's she doesn't belong to you anymore.
Yeah, but no, I basically always go with a she's not worthless line. It fits the whole situation perfectly. But
maybe with Haru, it's she doesn't belong to a scumbag like you. I don't know. I just have my own. I have my own thing for Persona.
No, yeah, your own headcanon.
My own AU. No, but it does. It doesn't involve the main character. It doesn't involve Akira. It involves my own character.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to do because who doesn't want to become a Let's Player and all that stuff? I wanted to make my own personal narrative in the when I was doing it recently. I was kind of hinting, giving basically more hints at Futaba's existence in the game because I'm oh, whose package could this be in the beginning? And then when Sojiro even says he dude, your voice changed. What's up? Are you? Or when he or leading to him liking Futaba. There's remember when Ryuji says oh, it even has your search history. I did leave in my commentary I went hey man, I just redheads with glasses. Don't kink shame me.
it's one of the things like is basically adding those layers of the character. Speaking of which, this is one of the things I talked to Aruka when I heard your last stream, and I'm going to have to defend on that she was besmirched last time.
You can still keep talking though. Hold on, I'll be right back. You keep going ahead and keep talking.
Yeah. Here's the thing, like, I don't think her confidant is bad, and I honestly am one of those that don't think that was. Do I think that they could have done more on? Yes, but I feel that with a lot of the cast later on in the game, mostly because the game kind of suffered from over-reliance on Futaba and Makoto for everything.
That's true.
But I don't think On felt out of relevance. I think there are a lot of aspects about her, but just like people tend to forget Ryuji's positive qualities, a lot of people tend to forget On's. The main one is because first we have the whole stuff with Kamoshida. That makes sense. A lot of people tend to minimize her efforts during the Madarame part. Like, after all, she was the one that kind of felt that something was off with Yusuke's painting in the exhibition. He could tell that something was strange with it. She was the one that could figure out that Madarame wasn't in the up and up, that something was off about it. And she confronted him when he tried to lie to Yusuke. She played the role basically distracting Yusuke the whole time. And I've seen a lot of people frame that as a terrible, objectifying thing, but they seem to forget that the comments about her getting naked are more in jest and not insensitive. They're just joking, and still in the end have her decide if she wants to do it. And she in the end decides to do it herself. And it kind of fits with her personality, her desire to be basically someone who takes command of her own action. Like, she doesn't mind being seen as attractive. She hates being looked down by it. She still enjoys using that to her abilities as a strength. Yes, and again, which is part of her confidence. How it explains she admires the villainess in the show she watched. Someone who was attractive, confident, and no matter, even she lost the day, she was always strong in what she believed in.
You do have a point there.
And that's also why I don't agree with the argument of if Mika should have had mementos. It's because that's kind of the aspect of it. It's basically one of those aspects of there are two aspects of On that really put her from I like this character to she's really great character. One is the more silly aspect, which was when they take Futaba to the beach and they come out, and Ryuji has that goofy pervert look on him. On's reaction wasn't "ooh, pervert, ew, gross, punch, hit." She just laughed and ribbed at him like, "You think differently about, huh? Do you think I'm sexy now?" The fact that she took it so lighthearted and just humorously spoke volumes of her as a person more than a lot of other characters.
Yeah, because if you see, no, but like it's some people would also pull the trope like, oh, they're looking at her like she's sexy, that they're objectifying her and all that shit. But okay, and that's hold on, I said I was gonna bring this up like in the last podcast, but this is something that needs to be said, and I just hate when people use this. I'm breaking character real quick, but because I have a sister that might disagree with that, but I just hate when people say, "Oh, they're using the video game to objectify women, this and that." Well, you know what? Sometimes it's a form of art, and it has nothing to do with real life. This is how the story is being portrayed. And the way that On plays it off when Ryuji does get that look, she actually accepts that, like, oh, he's like, now he thinks that I'm hot.
Yeah, no, like he treats it like just a friendly banter, like, oh, you think good of me now, and have different thoughts. as opposed to acting him like a pervert. And same with the Yusuke, when she's told to distract him, she doesn't just, oh, guess I'm gonna have to strip naked. Instead, she overexerts herself with layers and basically takes her 3 ties and layers and just playing that act like, oh, Yusuke, what's this? It's like, it's terrible acting, but it's perfect. It's hilarious. And the fact that
it's what gets... They do it like... How many times did they do it? They did it like 3 times.
Yeah. And the thing is that in the end, it works. She does what she's supposed to do in the way that she's comfortable doing it, because she doesn't have to put herself in a very uncomfortable position. She instead just layers herself up. Like, and that's the thing, like, people like, oh, it's so objectifying, she's pushed to do this. Like, she in the end, she decided to do that at the end because she wants to do right, and she does it in her own way.
Yeah, because
like,
I saw videos.
And people go like, and then right after Kamoshida, what happened to Kamoshida, how cruel there. And I go, that actually shows Mo how strong she is as a person, as she's able to walk
like,
I think it was Civic. I know someone. I watched a video on someone talking about like they really diverged with I think it was Civic who's saying that they try to teach us a lesson that there's like shame in body, like not body shaming. Fuck. Okay, now my mind just
victim blaming.
Good job. Shy.exe has stopped working. It is rebooting right now. Objectifying woman. There you go.
Yeah. No, I find it's such a really bad take, because it kind of minimizes the effort she puts to do this kind of stuff. Like, oh, she's objectified. Like, she's doing this because she wants to help. And
exactly.
Yes, it's an awkward situation, and her friends, because their friends, are teasing her about it. But at the end of the day, she's the one that makes the decision about it. Like,
she was the one who's like, you know what, I'll do it. I'll do it for the sake of for justice and the sake of the mission.
Yeah.
And how does that turn out at the end?
Again, it's because of her actions, and she was that pulled Yusuke with her. Remember, like, when things were gone, she grabbed Yusuke and ran, and because of that, Yusuke ended up becoming a part of the group.
Mm-hmm.
And another aspect about her, and this is what I like about her, and the other aspect that really got into me about her is the whole thing with Mika. Like, when she was tricked and she played the victim and had the people upset with her, remember that she did this after she found out what kind of person An was, and she chastised An for all the things she had to do when An was just going like, oh, I just eat sweets and do whatever I want. And like, obviously for Mika, who's been working hard and too detrimental to herself to become a model, having An just go like, yes, I'm a well-known model, but I don't really care about this stuff. I just eat whatever I want. Like,
it feels like, yeah, you have something that you haven't earned, and yet you have it.
Yeah, and that's why when it happened, I was really happy when An's reaction was not upset for how dare her tricked her. She was upset at herself when she realized how little effort she was putting into this when other people that were working so hard to it. I like the fact that her confidant is basically realizing and in tandem of wanting to become strong, get a stronger heart, and her putting effort. I like how one of the ranks basically has her, Ryuji, and Akira at the gym because she wants to put the effort. And how basically we learn more about Ryuji's and her mother relationship from An, like when she comments about like Ryuji has a hard time saying no to his mom, kind of pointing like, yeah, like again, they know each other for a long time, and basically they're hanging out and supporting her and giving her and helping her. And I like the fact that basically An, who at the beginning didn't really care about modeling, found modeling kind of like extension of herself. So nothing recreational, but ended up finding it more of an extension of herself as a Phantom Thief. She joined the Phantom Thieves because she wanted to give hope to those that needed it, and she in the end found modeling to be able to do the same because of what she learned from working harder to be against Mika from Shiho, from wanting to make sure she was okay, that she wanted to be a model, so Shiho could always see her, so she could always know that she was fine and okay, and to make sure that she can bring that confidence and courage to other people because of her modeling. And if you haven't played Striker, that development continues on in Strikers.
And also, since since Mika actually is like fake cries and all that stuff, she does like in game. It translates to the crocodile tears.
She learns from that.
She learns the crocodile tears ability, which now that I think about it is actually pretty deep.
Yep, and I like the fact that Mika's situation, like, she gets caught. She apologizes, but she's not really apologizing that she's what she did.
She's apologizing since she got caught.
That she got caught. But when On confronts her in earnestly, like, no, I didn't treat you with respect as a model. I just saw this, okay? But I'll show you what I'm truly capable of. I'll show you that I can deserve this. When Mika saw that driving her, she felt, okay, fine. You want to do this? I'll make sure to beat you. Fair and square.
Yes.
Like, it was basically like, Mika did not respect On because she didn't felt like she earned it. But because after what she went through with Mika, after working with Ryuji, after finding her drive with Shiho, and basically Akira helping her figure out like what a heart, having a strong heart to be there for other is, she finally found that motivation and her desire to actually model for more than just modeling, like just a hobby, but actually find purpose in it.
Real quick.
And one thing that you mentioned,
wait, real quick. Sorry, how long have we been going on for?
For I believe like more than an hour and 30, I think. It's fine.
It's actually pretty nice.
As soon as you think you're done, I just want.
Oh no, I can talk forever.
Let's see. Because I do want to share a little bit of my story.
Yeah.
Maybe we can. Maybe I can share like what my quote unquote AU is like kind of about.
Yeah, I have two more things to add. One finishing On and one about Oya, because I know Oya is the one that gets a lot of shit.
Yeah, true. Everyone hates Oya.
Yeah,
I did, and you know what? I did say that I don't like Oya that much because I don't know. I just never found her that interesting.
Basically, the final thing is I want to mention is that you guys mentioned about how basically On talk to you option about On talking to you because not having to be able to talk to Shiho. That's sort of what happens in the confidant early on. Like when she sees Shiho, like one of the reasons she talks to you is because during one of the physical therapies, she sees Shiho so broken down and in pain and tears, like constantly feeling like she wants to give up and crying.
Continue.